Hey y'all, it's your girl Sia, and I'm back with another video, y'all. So, really quick here, I have a live on YouTube where I started to do the live, and like a moth flew into my room, and I like freaked out, you guys. So, I do apologize about that. I do not do bugs at all. And it was so funny because I was more enwrapped with the moth than I was with remembering that I was on live. So I do want to apologize to you guys for that. Again, I don't do bugs. And it's so funny because I grabbed like a bleach and I was gonna spray the moth, but then I had to realize, like, dude, you're gonna spray all of your stuff with bleach too. So it was a weird, interesting night. I ended up going into my living room, turning off all the lights and then leaving that light on, and then I hung out in my living room until the moth found its way out towards the light, and then I ran in my room and I shut my door, and I left the living room light on all night just because I was like, I do not want to be dealing with this. Y'all, the extreme measures of trying to kill a moth, okay? But the moth ended up dying somehow anyway, so that helped. But I'm sure there will be more, right? Anywho, so I did want to check in on that so you guys know, like, I had in full intentions to do a live, and I was really feel like that I wanted to talk about something which I was pretty passionate about at the moment. But I don't do bugs. Okay, so the thing was pretty big. I could see it. And so yeah, I had a all out war with the moth, and technically the moth won until it died. Outside of that, you guys, I just wanted to check in briefly. I'm actually in the process of getting my hair braided, so it's been taking me a little while, but I did want to say that I am doing a little bit better. Again, it's never a good feeling when, I just feel like, how can I say this? I have risen above certain situations. It almost feels like, not intentionally, it's like God has placed me in certain situations that have elevated me beyond the nonsense that have to deal with. And so a lot of times it feels like I'm going through what I'm going through alone. Obviously I am, but I mean, in terms of not really being able to share with folks what I go through outside of this platform, just because everybody expects me. It's almost like people look at me like, if I was to say something about a hater or something else, people see me as being like above that. And I know that sounds crazy because we all got them, and we all deal with people that want to intentionally, see us fall or tear us down, stuff like that. But it's like certain people, because of the image that others have of you, it feels more like I'm being arrogant versus me actually stating what it is, right? And so it's a fine line to cross. And so at times it does get lonely because while I do have all my shit together, there's some shit that man, I'm trying to tell you now, if I was any other type of way, I know in a parallel universe or on Earth 3 or something, like, I know that I'm a different type of person. Okay, because if the thoughts come to me, that means that there's somewhere in some universe of me with me where I made some sort of action that myself always feels like I wish I could make, if that makes sense. Okay, so know that I know that I have to move in a in a manner that does not allow people to ever get it twisted that I am above them, right? So meaning that only people who would feel beneath me would act like that, right? So and that's where the disappointment was kind of like, really, like, um are we really back to doing shit like this? Like, are y'all this bored with your time now that the lady's retired? Like, and you think you're gonna fuck with me? Like, let me tell you something. No, ma'am, that shit ain't an option, bro. Like, and the reason why I have to back out is because it's not my kid. It's me. The thing is, it's like, and you guys have to understand, when I was doing that live, when I'm processing what I'm saying, I'm like, wow, I really have a hell of a lot of power. They give it to me. I ain't did shit to you. I don't speak to you. All I did was walk by with a nice orange dress on. Like, okay. And I said hi to the men you're supposed to be with, but apparently, I mean, I don't know. If I was with a man and we going to an event, I'm sitting beside him, not behind him. So, that was pretty odd in my thought process, but I just let it be what it was. And he had no common sense to think like, oh, my girl's going to be jealous. And even though it don't make no sense why she should be jealous, we know she going to be that way. So a part of me, I was shocked because when he said hi, y'all, at that event, I was looking like, where is your girl? And then I finally seen her. My bad. And I'm not being an asshole, but I really looked like, where the fuck is she? And then I seen her right behind him, and I didn't really look at her too much, but I looked enough to know it was her, and I kept walking. And in my mind, I was like, oh shit, because I knew that this was going to cause, when you're dealing with women like this, I already know what this. I listen. I am a PhD, and I got a PhD, and pretty. What being pretty attracts, right? And a lot of women already have they turned up noses and their little mouths and shit, and you don't even be doing shit. You just show up as yourself. And so like I wasn't rude. I could have been like I could have easily been rude, right? I had every right to be rude how I see it, but I didn't. I was cordial and I kept it pushing. I don't want your man. Like I just sometimes the logic that women have and they carry when they do not love or value themselves makes absolutely no logic to me. Okay, absolutely no sense to me. Okay, especially if they understood what kind of woman I am. So meaning that as a woman, and I don't know if this is just because I feel as though I'm a real woman. Do I make mistakes? Yes. Do my thought processes change? Yes. But I do feel like for the most part, I am an authentic woman. Okay. And when I say that, I mean that I embrace womanhood in a lot of aspects. I think more than what people are used to, if that makes sense. So what I mean by this is, because my mama raised, even though I got my own childhood bullshit, I will say the things I learned in childhood really, really stuck with me, and I'm grateful that they have. The worst thing a woman can do, because this is what I was sitting there pondering that evening, and as you guys know, like, I'm a mom, the shit fucking hurts. It's not like it doesn't affect me. However, I have a way of disassociating quick. Like, I can, I think it's like maybe a protection mechanism. I don't know. But if I feel like I have no love and no care and I have no reason to really be around you, I will disassociate myself, and I have no problem doing it. Like, my cutoff game is very strong. Okay. The problem is, though, obviously there's a kid involved who, one, doesn't deserve this. But two, I mean, that's my kid. So it's harder to be like, I'ma just cut ties, right? But at the same time, my personality type, the person that I am, the person that I said, you know what, I'm okay with this person that I'm going to be, and embody and truly embrace, right? Um that person will never, and I've always been really this way. I think that I got to a point, and I've said this plenty of times, where I started to doubt myself and question myself, but no one can do that, make put me in that position anymore. Like, there's no possible way anybody can do that. And if I ever start to doubt myself, then I'm probably in the wrong environment. That's most likely what it is. And again, I am young in terms of knowledge and perspective and life, right? But I know that at some point you have to know who you are, you have to know what it is that you stand for, and you have to know what you believe in. And that just is what it is. And I've always stated that I'm a stand for truth before I stand for any bullshit that anybody tries to put my way. Okay. So when it comes to that, understanding that as a mom, life is not just about my child, right? And I know that parents, that's very difficult for people to understand. But for me, my life, I mean, maybe if I had like 5 kids, I would give up. Like, real talk. I'd probably be like, bro, the kids can have my life, man. That's all I'm here for, man. But because I only have one, and because of the dynamics in the situation as to what I deal with in the sense of having one, there's a lot of room for me to do whatever the fuck I want to do. And so in that way, I like my freedom. I like the fact that I have a lot of room on my canvas, right? I see my life as like this blank canvas. And I'm able to paint the kind of life that I want. And unfortunately, I got this stubborn stain that I just can't seem to get out of the canvas board. So I want to paint over it. That's where I'm at. And so this woman, in her mind, because see, a lot of things are done, it's done in a way to where, first of all, they didn't play it right. Okay. If it was me, and I'm telling you now, I don't mind. I'm not a evil baby mama or whatever. I don't really care. If my daughter wants to spend time with her daddy, or they need my time, like I've said before, for whatever, like if you want to go on a trip or whatever, and you want to take a weekend or whatever, I'm okay with that, as long as that conversation is being had not 10 minutes before I'm pulling up to your house. And so for me, it's giving very much, because this is not, again, this happened last weekend too, so not just this weekend, but last weekend, and the coming weekend is Father's Day. So what it's telling me is that when I was picking up my daughter from the school, they had no choice but to give me my kid. See, and it's unfortunate that you have to have a third party involved. Now that there's nobody there as a middle ground, because the school has the court order, right? So now that there's nobody there as a middle ground, it's almost like what has happened in the past, which I could be very well traumatized. Maybe the person changed, but I don't believe people change, right? I just believe that the focus is on me more because the lady's retired, she's bored, and she has nothing to do, right? Then she sees me coming in, I'm doing well for myself, and the plus is I look good doing it. Like, I get it, but that's like, I don't control that. Like, in my mind, that's not a reason to do the shit that she does. So for me, I've come to realize that there's something about me for a person to go out of their way to wake up someday and be like, you know what, I'm gonna fuck with this girl. This girl didn't do shit to me, but I'm gonna fuck with her. It tells me that I'm somebody. I don't know who yet. I'm still figuring that part out, but I must be somebody, right? I gotta be. I mean, at least to them. So, it's unfortunate, but I'm pretty adamant because I'm actually still pretty peed off, right? Because I feel like I'm gonna be honest, I don't know how to explain it. In my mind, I feel like I'm so much above the shit that they just pulled. that it's almost like a how dare you, right? The shit that I be saying, like, really? Like the audacity, right? Like me. So because of that feeling, it's like, well, one, I mean, rightfully so. You know, I should know ahead of time if I need to be picking up my daughter or not. Like that's just common sense. I need to know ahead of time if plans change. Again, that's not asking for too much. Anybody who's telling me that it is, um, are the ones in the wrong, right? And so for me, it's like in order to ensure that this shit don't keep happening, I know that I have to go to the extreme. And I was thinking too, like, even with my kid in this whole conversation about I was scared that you were going to be mad. So I didn't tell you not to come. I mean, she really didn't even say that. You could tell she was talking in circles, but tried to blame me for why she didn't tell me, hey, mom, I got so and so going on. And I'm thinking, well, when I was younger and this shit would happen, because I know who was behind why it would happen, of course I would be peed off because in my mind, it's not okay. But as I've grown through these experiences and I've realized that nobody gives a fuck, right? I start to realize that I probably shouldn't either. So what has really happened over the last 3, 4 years is that I care less. So this is what I'm saying with the girl. It's like you're going out of your way to trying to hurt me, not realizing that this is shit like this is reasons for me at this point in my life, to be honest with you, to be like, you know what? I'm not doing this because if I call you, it's like all the things that I do to prevent this from happening. So I call you before I leave and am on my way. You don't agree that you should have to tell me then that, hey, I'm changing my plans, right? It's my fault. This is all me, right? I don't deserve even to be let known that. I get 10 minutes to the house and then you're telling me that you're not even at the house and or you have other plans and X, Y, and Z. And this is really not her because I don't think she really knew how to tell me. Her daddy ended up telling me, but you can't call me, you can't tell me. And then you get irritated and you don't understand why it's a problem that I'm finding out 10 minutes before after work traveling 30 minutes away to go get the kid from the side of town that I'm on. Okay, that's cool. Um, but I'm not in the space where I'm willing to sacrifice. I work hard for my money, right? Car is mileage. I'm putting mileage on my car, right? By traveling and doing all of these things. I'm spending money for events that I should be doing with her, but because plans were changed at last minute without even consulting with me, now I'm spending money on things. And then two or three, I feel as though I'm wasting my time. Like that's the biggest thing about it. Is like even if the argument was valid that okay, mom gets mad if she finds out that my plans have changed, which it's really not. The kid is, I don't know what the lying, like anytime she's called out on something wrong, it's somebody else's fault, it's never hers, right? So in that, that's really what our back and forth was about, was the fact that she wasn't being honest. And when you're dealing with people like that, you've got to be more mindful of what you say, right? So if the excuse is I'm upset because you change your plans at last minute, so the fuck what? Like this is I keep trying to tell the kid, you can't control me. How the fuck you're not being impacted if I'm mad, but I'm at my house and you with your daddy? You're not impacted by how I feel at all. So who the fuck cares if I'm mad or not? I would think that the average parent would be mad, because now being mad to the sense where I'm going to like lash out on you, she's not even in my care to be able to do that. So by the time she comes back, that shit is water under the bridge. I would much rather find out before I'm 10 minutes away from your house. I think that the time to make me mad is in the beginning, not wait to the very last minute. And then now nobody seems like I'm speaking French or Chinese. And then the kid tells me, okay, like that. I said, oh, let me tell you something. That little girl's been taught to disrespect me, because if my mama, first of all, we wouldn't even pull that shit with my mom. But then, too, if that was ever the case, naturally, I would have been like, okay, mom, I get it. Like, my bad. I'm sorry. Like, my bad. I would have found a way to end the conversation with acknowledging what my mom is telling me. My kid had some nerve. Okay. Okay. See, the reason why people are able to use kids as a weapon is because they know that you're emotionally attached to the child, especially a mom and her daughter, maybe a father and his kid. Like, I don't know, because but the emotional attachment of being a parent to a child is very, very strong, right? And if the parent that is being having to deal with the difficult parent is not strong enough, that parent can essentially result to doing things that wouldn't be in the norm for them if it wasn't so, right? So this is why, and it's crazy because I meet a lot of women, believe it or not, in similar, that could have been in similar situations, but we're like, you know what? I'm moving on. I left the baby with so and so. Now I have a whole new family and their life is going great. So a part of me is like, it's hard because I know my daughter loves me. My daughter loves me. Like, and I think that's the level of jealousy, that's part of that jealousy, right? Is that she sees that my daughter, no matter what you be trying to do, my daughter loves me. And I'm pretty sure with all the shit building up to what happened, this was more about getting the kid so I can try to get a bond with her real quick, because she ain't really bonding with me like that, right? To try to separate me and her. That's fine. Because what's going to happen, because I'm really sick and tired of dealing with the same old shit, right? And if the courts aren't going to make it right, and this is how they see parenting is supposed to be, I feel as though maybe I'm out of touch, right? Maybe I don't know what parenting is, and maybe then I shouldn't be somebody's parent. Then maybe I have no idea what that looks like. Maybe there's something wrong with me, and I'm willing to admit that. And you know what's so crazy is when I tell my daughter this, she breaks down and cries because she know damn well it's a bunch of bullshit, but it's how I'm being treated. So everybody in this situation, it's almost like if I was to get up and start a new life somewhere else, it would be expected. But it's not expected. It's expected in the sense that we're telling the story that you're the bad mom. So then if you do, then we can really say that you're the bad mom. But then it's almost like, but if you leave, you are like, it's a weird psychological bullshit that they be trying to pull. So I know myself and I shut down very well, and I have a workload, and I've got people who support me, and I feel like my patience is wearing thin. My fuse is only so much, and the having the balance of liking the kid but then not trusting the kid, and then knowing all this shit is going on, loving my kid but then still not trusting my kid, like then not liking the kid, right? Because I be dealing with a bunch of bullshit, and then having to deal with the people who have made this situation what it is all the time. Now, I'm cool when they don't interfere. I've got a whole nother issue when they start pulling shit like this. So what I'm gonna do, because again, we do these things because we see that she cares. So, let's hurt her, right? So we can one up. I don't fight for, I already fought for this kid. This kid lied on me and some more shit, right? Was not honest with herself or the feelings that she had. Still very much disrespectful. I mean, again, the behaviors have gotten better, but it's still sh- that child needs therapy. That's all I can say. And it's not funny. The child needs therapy. And the problem is, though, she's never going to get it at the capacity that she needs it because she needs it with all parties involved. Meaning, dad shows up, the girlfriend shows up, I show up. He ain't showing up. I've been showing up. I'm tired of being the only one fighting for this child. So we'll see what happens, you guys. But like I said, I'm determined because of when I processed all that back. I am determined. I'm not like, if I'm gonna live my summer, I'm gonna have a good summer. I'm gonna enjoy my summer. I don't know that I'll be available because if you're telling me that even when I'm on my way, that you can change my parenting time at last minute with no heads up, no nothing, you can actually make me drive. Like, obviously, when I called, I shouldn't have called. I got, I had to deal with attitude and everything else. So, okay, I won't be calling no more. So, the fact that I don't even know if I can come get you, I'm not going to come get you. That's what it is. If I can't call to say, hey, I'm on my way, is that okay? Like, and there's no important information relayed to me at that time as to, hey, don't come, I'm doing such and such or whatever. I'm not even gonna bother with it at this point. I'm really sticking to my guns because that ain't cool. It's not cool. It's not cool. So that's where I'm at with everything, y'all. I just wanted to do a check-in. I'm out. Peace.